big thing that came out this week that a lot of people were talking about were the inflation numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Specifically the food inflation. So inflation came in at, everyone down 2.3%. These were what? These were January numbers, right? Yeah, these were January numbers, I think. And then food inflation came in at 7.3%.
That's good.
Which everyone's feeling, like the 7.3. But what's bigger? I looked up beef. Last year, beef went up about 16%, and it's projected to go up another 5 to 7% this year.
Yeah.
So that'll be 20% over. If that happens, that's 20, which is very likely.
The fact that we have to talk about prices like this is just so ridiculous.
No, okay, but yeah. So let's bring it. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I agree. I mean, look. If the reality is, anyone that won't admit right now that the Canadian economy is broken, like they have their blinders on. Like for whatever reason, it's not hard to.
It's almost the entire Western world. But
yeah. Well, let's talk. Yeah,
but Canada's actually probably at the bottom of the list
right now. In specific areas, inflation, food inflation, we're at the bottom of the list, like the top, because we're the highest. But our economy's struggling along. But a lot of people fail to admit that, and they don't see it. So everything's okay to them.
Well, because they just blame Trump. Like, it's like, we would be okay. A lot of people I speak to anyway, they're like, well, it's really not our fault. It's because of Trump. Mm-hmm. And I'll often just say, I don't really care. Let's just talk about Canada. And I guess the argument to that is, well, we can't really do much because the Americans have so much power that if Canada wants to build an oil refinery, for example, or wants to do something really productive, the U.S. can kind of flex some muscle in a whole bunch of different ways and slow us down from making those decisions. That's what's countered to me when I say,
you're right, but
let's focus on Canada.
Yeah, and that drives me up the wall too, because there
is some validity to that.
No, but what I don't like about it is it just turns this argument into a political argument right away.
Yeah. Like instead of just focusing on what we can do as a country.
Yeah, it becomes, well, no, this is about Trump versus Canada. I'm like,
stop.
Geez, man, not everything breaks. And first of all, it's bullshit. Okay. It's actually look, take beef as an example. Okay.
Also, Trump's only been in power for part of the time over the last 15 years where our GDP has not grown.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I'm not even saying, look, if the same thing happened and the economy was in the same place, it doesn't matter what political party's in power in Canada, whether it was the Liberals or the Conservatives, or if they split the time. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't be about like Liberal voters, some that I've spoken to, they immediately, when he's talking about this stuff, they get very defensive, thinking that it's like, well, no, it's not their fault. And I'm like, no, guys, not them, as like the voters, like the Liberal government. And I'm like, look, this isn't like let's just talk about facts. Yeah, let's not turn this into an emotional conversation.
We're too far gone.
About Liberals and Conservatives. Like, this is crazy.
Too far gone.
So, but the problem is that it's like, look, take beef as the example, okay? So the inflation rate that we've had in beef, we have Alberta, we have a lot of good beef in Canada, but you won't find a lot of it at the grocery stores here. You'll find, actually, what was it the other day?
Why did you see it in
There's
New Zealand?
cheaper beef being sold. Was it New Zealand?
It was. What was the deal with that?
Well, it's Canadian beef that's being shipped out there. I forget why. I looked into it, but I forget. But that's what's happening. And we're importing other beef, or, because it's still these interprovincial.
What's happening is that it was so weird, because you're telling me that Canadian beef is cheaper in New Zealand than we see here.
Yes.
But then I see Australian beef here
cheaper than
Canadian beef.
It's
just blowing my mind.
Stupidest thing ever.
I don't understand.
No, I know. And this is like, we're so backwards. And like, remember last year when the tariffs came in, everyone started talking. I shouldn't say everyone, but some of the different levels of government started talking these big games. Oh, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make all these changes. The first thing that everyone spoke about was the interprovincial trade barriers, how we're going to fix those. It's the same garbage. Yeah. Nothing's changed. The dairy management, nothing's changed. Why are eggs so expensive? Why is milk so expensive? Like, guys, we got to be doing something. But obviously, the focus is more on whatever those management systems provide, whoever they provide for, rather than the average Canadian who's going to the grocery store and trying to buy this food.
Yeah.
This is where the problem lies in everything. And this is what no one talks about, because immediately it becomes no, hold on, red versus blue, Canada versus Trump.
It's a great distraction.
It's like, it's the biggest level of bullshit.
The system's broken at the base level. So like, you can't even fix it. It doesn't matter who's in power. Like, the bottom line is you need more debt to pay for the previous debt. Everything gets more inflated higher.